Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you my Gothtober TBR. So Gothtober runs throughout the month of October. It's a readathon that I co-host, and I'll have a link in the description box down below to my announcement video, which is also where you can find out how to get your prompts if you're interested in joining in. Now, I quit doing TBRs years ago now, and I'm not a big fan of creating a TBR, but as I am a co-host of the readathon, I do believe it is my due duty to share my own TBR that I will hopefully stick to as a mood reader. I'm going to do this rapid fire, so we're not going to linger too long on the books just because this is not my favourite kind of video to make, but we are doing it! Anyway, so these are the books that I hope to read in Gothtober 2025. I did finish my TBR last year, so there's a very high percentage chance that I actually will read the books that I'm talking to you about. And I will be vlogging throughout the month of October, so you can see me reading them. The first book that I had was a book I had high expectations for, and for this I've chosen Damascus by Tingle. I've never read anything by Tingle before, but I have high expectations for this one in particular because the themes sound really good to me. It's by a queer author, but it's also a horror book that kind of focuses around a correction camp where queer people are sent to so that they could be straightened out and made straight, which obviously doesn't work, and those conversion camps are very problematic and horrifying in and of themselves. But this is just one I've also seen so many good and positive reviews from for horror fans that I tend to align with their taste, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I was given the prompt multiple points of view, and for that I'm going to choose The Reformatory by Tananaravie Due. So this is a book that I started reading last year, but then I had several video projects going on at the same time and I didn't get to finish it. So I'm officially halfway through this book already, but that's okay, it can still count for the readathon, and I might like reread the beginning of it and then continue, but it is a 5-star prediction for me. And you've got multiple points of view because you're following a brother and a sister, and it switches between their points of view. This is a horror novel set in historical America when discrimination was in place, or slavery discrimination was in place, and it's following this young boy who gets accused of doing something he didn't do, and he gets sent to the Reformatory facility where they keep boys who have caused trouble and force them to work. And it's really horrible and it's really terrible. They get whipped there, but while he's there he also sees ghosts, and it's about his experience seeing the ghosts of the people who have been in this place before him, and then the point of view of his sister as she's desperately trying to get him out of that place. A really harrowing, a really good book, so well written. Even though it's a thick one, I read half of it very, very quickly. Then my next prompt is the prompt that I love, and that is Sentient House or Sentient Object, and for that I've gone for A House with Good Bones by Kingfisher. From what I know of this book, it is a sentient house or it's a haunted house, but the house has a very prominent place to play. It's sometimes a bit hard to know if the house is sentient before you've read the book, but I'm hoping that it is. I've read several Kingfisher books before and I've really loved all of the ones that I've read, and so I wanted to read more this October. That is all I know about this book. We will find out more when I read it. Up next, I really struggled with this one, and this is a book that's a second world setting or a portal fantasy. So I went with second world setting, which means that it's not set in this current day world, and I've chosen Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi for this prompt. This is the third and final book in a trilogy, a young adult fantasy trilogy where magic has been kind of forbidden, and this person, our main character Zili, is trying to get magic back to the oppressed people in society. I read books 1 and 2 very, very, very long ago when they first came out, and there was a big gap before this finale book, but I'm still going to read it anyway because sometimes I leave that bigger gap between reading my sequels myself personally. So I'm looking forward to reading this, and also it'd be very, very nice to finish off a trilogy. We'll see how much I remember or if I need to read some recaps before I can get to this final book, but I'm intrigued to see how it's all going to wrap up because I really loved books 1 and 2. I rated them both 5 stars. Then for my prompt of red, orange or yellow on the cover, I went with House of Idyll by Delilah S. Dawson. This has red on the cover, and this is my third book of Delilah S. Dawson's that I'm reading, and it sounds quite a lot like Guillotine, which is the one I read and had a lot of fun with last Goftober. So in this one we're following a singer-songwriter who gets the opportunity to go to this luxury island and work with this very cool band, and she takes the opportunity. She's on this luxury island and she discovers that maybe not everything is as perfect as it seems, and kind of like Guillotine, it sounds like there's going to be commentary on kind of classism, what the rich will do and why and how they get to be rich. I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I just whizzed through her books. I find them a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to having some fun in Gothtober as well. Then I got to the prompt of multiple points of view for a second time, and for this one I'm going to be reading Burnt Sparrow, We Are Always Tender with Our Dead, and this is by LaRocca. So I discovered a new genre term recently and I love it. It's splatterpunk. Splatterpunk is really dark and disturbing horror, and that is what LaRocca writes. It's not horror for the fun of it, it's not horror to be scary, it's horror that is deeply disturbing and creepy and unsettling, and it's kind of the macabre side of horror. It's really dark stuff, and that is exactly what LaRocca writes. Their books are not to be enjoyed, they're to be experienced, and I have read several of them and I really like them, and so I'm looking forward to reading another LaRocca. What I know of this one is that it's set in this town where lots of people die, and as the community is collectively grieving their dead, something is going to happen. And yeah, it's splatterpunk, but it also always features grief. LaRocca writes a lot about grief, and that combination just does something right for me, because grief is a specialist subject that I'm very interested in reading, unpicking and learning more about. And then we've got our standard prompts that we always have across the grid. So for the prompt of LGBTQ+ author or content in the book, I'm going to read Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. Do I remember what this book in particular is about anymore? No, but I know it's one of his young adult horror books, and I've been meaning to read Andrew Joseph White for a long time. I've got about 4 of their books on my shelf. That can't happen without me having read a single one anymore. So I'm going to read one and see what I think about it. For the prompt of BIPOC author, I'm going to be reading Demon Song by Kelsea. Kelsea is a bookstagram friend of mine, and I'm so proud of her for getting published. And she has written a Phantom of the Opera retelling that's got horror elements to it that is set in China, which just sounds really epic and cool, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what she's done with that concept. Phantom of the Opera is a classic I have read and I really liked. It was very gothic. It was just everything that you expect from the story. Lots of us are familiar with the story already, but yeah, I really liked it, and so I'm looking forward to reading a retelling of it. And last but not least, for the prompt of disability, I'm going to go with disability in terms of the author, and I'm going to finally read Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews, another bookstagram and book blogger, ex-book blogger friend of mine, and this is their young adult horror book where it's following these 2 boys who kind of become entangled, and it's very foresty and angsty and woodsy, with some romance in there as well, and it just sounds like everything I like. I know that C.G. Drews is also, like me, a big fan of the Raven Cycle. That's quite how we bonded, and yeah, they comp this book to the Raven Cycle, but a little bit more darker and a little bit more, you know, the monsters within us. So that sounds like my kind of cup of tea. And there you have it. Those are all the books that I plan to read for Gothtober. Please let me know in the comment section down below what is one book that you are planning on reading in October. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!